let you know where I am. I'm outside the Butcher's Pie Shop. There's also another one in Rolleston. I've had a pie from that one. And just to give you an idea, I think it's Riverside Lane, I think. Hang on. Yes, Riverside Lane in Christchurch City Centre is where you'll find this pie shop. And I'm told they're very good. Now, let's find out who's here in Christchurch with me. Let me just set up the laptop. Oh, by the way, upload speed is about 100 megabytes per second right here, so we've got phenomenally good internet, which should be very nice. Quite unlike last week's live stream, sorry about that. Mike Adams, welcome to Christchurch, sir. Hope you're all good. Purple Monk in 1974, hello! Now, you might have noticed I've chosen quite a different kind of location for this live stream. It's noisy, there are people, there's music in the background, so there's no monetization for this one. Thanks, YouTube. Hey, it's all good. We don't really do very well out of the monetization on the live streams anyway. It's not done for that. It's just a bit of fun. So, I bought the pie, and it's a steak and cheese. I bought this about 20 minutes ago, so I've been trying to keep it warm. And believe me, the weather down here, talking of warmness, I got in my car the other day, 34 degrees C on the dash. Exterior temperature, 34. Now sure, once I got driving it dropped a couple of degrees, but still, very hot down here. Not ideal, to be fair, for a Yorkshireman. Okay, steak and cheese pie coming up from the Butcher's Pie Shop just behind me. Not a sponsor, they could be if they want to be. There you go. Structural integrity, it feels very, very soft. You can see it bowing look on the base. Incredibly soft down here. Oh, I nearly read that one. You bought something from the pie shop behind me. Oh, from the shop behind you. Richard Perry. Hi, Andy and crew. Hello. I hope everyone is well. I'm early for once. Good man. I'm very rarely early. Right, okay, here we go. So, the pie. I'm going in before it gets cold. We're not doing a full score on this, but I'll give you an overview. Pretty soggy. Definitely a pie that you'd want to eat in the vertical orientation, because otherwise it's just going to fall apart. You need good pie management, people, you know that. Now, Mr. Raw, welcome back, sir, and welcome to Christchurch. Good morning, Andy and crew. Roger Heaps. Good morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, gentlemen. Simon and Roger. And Roger, thanks again for all your help the other week. Very much appreciated. Now, very quickly, the trip. So obviously we attempted to do a live stream last Sunday from the Remarkables ski field lowest car park, the one, you know, right by the main road. And well, it turned out, even though it looked like there was some kind of internet going on there really wasn't. So we had to abort mission, for those that didn't realise, and then get down to Frankton. And I just pulled into a lay-by, and we ran the rest of the live stream from there. I had to restart the live stream, so you'll find two live streams. One's very short. That's the one that didn't work. It's actually quite funny because I think I'm stuck in a loop on that one. It's very weird. And then there's the other one, which is the correct one. So after the live stream, I decided to go. That was on Sunday. Decided to go up to Glenorchy, sort of northish of Queenstown, a dead end. But it's a long road, and you can go right up to there's a few walks up there as well, gravel roads and bits and pieces. So went off to explore. Stopped in Glenorchy, let the girls get out and have a run around, you know, as they do, take pictures and selfies and message people.
Do you want to know why I know?
So that was pretty much Sunday. Monday, still in Queenstown, went up to Cromwell on Monday. Was going to meet Daniel. Daniel's a good friend of mine. He used to work in the dealership in Dannevirke, but unfortunately ran out of time. So my sincere apologies, Daniel. I had to get back. We'll have to catch up next time I'm down for sure. First pints on me. And then on the Tuesday, that's when we basically left Queenstown and had to go over the hill to Wanaka. Had to go the long way around to Wanaka. Didn't want to risk going up the windings, I call them. The short route, very, very steep climb. That's where the Ranger, a couple of years ago, lost its brakes coming down there with a trailer. And there are signs saying, hey, trailers are not really recommended up here. So, let's not do that. Let's be sensible. Go the long way around. It's not bad. I don't like mushy pies. Very, very poorly party. It's starting to split down there now. So it could end up in a catastrophe. Butcher's pies, people. Make them stronger. The pastry itself is incredibly thin on the base. You can see it's about maybe 3 mil at the max, which is just not enough. You need a bit more stability in your pie, rigidity. So, did the visit in Wanaka, and the dealership's just moved premises. So there's a bit more to do than normal. A bit of work on the PDI side of things, and then from there that was Cromwell, and then Wanaka on the Tuesday. From there, went across to had to go via Oamaru, see Sheldon. I had a crate to pick up from there, which I'd made and sent some stuff down in, so I wanted to collect the crates so I could use it. And then up to Timaru that night. Got to Timaru, probably about 7:30, 8 o'clock. It was quite a long day, to be honest, but we made good time. It wasn't too bad. Oh my word. Right, so Roger, as you well know, is currently cultivating some small puppies into large doggies. There you go. That's this week's photo. Thank you, Roger, much appreciated. They clearly, I'll zoom in a bit. Roger's doing his very best to convince Mrs. Mechanic that we should have one of these puppies. Well, I know how big they get, Roger, and so does Mrs. Mechanic now. And just wouldn't fit in the house. We haven't got enough room, honestly. I mean, take this trip for example. If I was to, bring the dog down with me, how would it be possible to fit the dog in the car? There's no space, right? It's wall-to-wall crap, both in the tray at the back and inside the cab. There's nowhere for a dog. A little Marmite, you can squeeze her in a corner somewhere. And your doggies? Not a chance. Now the contents. It's almost like a shredded beef, a shredded steak, as opposed to lumpy steak, cut up chunks. It's a bit odd, to be honest. If it was pork, shredded pork, it's fine. But shredded beef, when I'm eating steak, I like to get the chunks, It's almost like a puree sticking out. Not good. Let me catch up with the comments, I'm way behind. In fact, I'm just going to move my laptop over this side. Oh, hey, I'm not currently having a cigarette because I don't think I can smoke here, to be honest. Somebody else light up. Here we go. Press the wrong button. Oh, off again. No, come on. IT guy. Right, comments coming up. Where do we get to? Done that one. Done that one. Mike Adams, the pastry looks rather flaky. The pastry, well, I'll show you, right? Yes, pastry is really flaky. It's all over the place. The stuff on the lid, on top of the pie, is just pointless. Why do they do that? It just becomes bird food. Simon, the Christmas beer is almost ready for the yeast now. Long Day Brewing. Fantastic hobby, all I can say. Good job, keep it up. And good luck. I'm sure it'll taste fantastic. I think any beer that you make yourself is quite rewarding to then drink it, right? Well, Ben's into that kind of stuff. He makes his own. He hasn't done any recently, but he's got hundreds and hundreds of bottles. It was like a mini factory in his bedroom at one of the houses he was living in. Ridiculous. Oh, what's this one? Good morning. The eye looks sore. It's not too bad. I mean, it's hardly raised now, and it doesn't hurt. And some days are better than others. Some days there's hardly any redness to it. Other days there is. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. I might have to go and see a specialist because it's rather annoying, but it doesn't bother me. It doesn't physically bother me. You know, it doesn't affect my day-to-day job or just life in general, basically. But obviously, you know, when you're talking to people, it catches their eye, so to speak, and that can be a bit off-putting for them, and it can make the conversation difficult to flow, so to speak, because they sort of lose track. Because they're going, "What's that on his eye?" You know? I don't know what it is. Okay, quick update on the pie. I don't know. It's alright, I suppose. It doesn't taste bad. It's just a bit, I don't know, wishy-washy. Oh, it's quieting down. You might be able to hear me better now. Okay. Where are we at? It's alright, okay. Connor K. Morning, Connor. Welcome back, sir. Morning, Andy and crew. Looks like a good location to get a pie today. Honestly, you could sit here all day long and eat nothing but pies. Not that I'm going to do that. I've got stuff to do. Simon, hit the like. Thank you, Simon. Appreciate that. I never mention it, right? I'm absolutely crap. I'm a bit like James May. I never remember to say, hey, you know, comment, like, and subscribe, or like, subscribe, comment, whatever it is. Always forget. Totally useless. Purple monkey. Sorry, there's a lot of glare on the screen. Won't have to score the server. You could just show us. I could. She's not bad, actually, to be fair. Very welcoming this morning. She's just round the corner behind this sign, so maybe I'll flick the camera around and we'll just go and say what a wonderful pie it was. Hopefully nobody will steal my rucksack. Stick her on the live stream. Can't go wrong. So, got to Timaru on the Tuesday night. No problems at all. Everything went absolutely to plan. Drive was good. Did a visit in Timaru on the Wednesday, and then drove up to Ashburton that afternoon. Got some admin work done. Another visit on the Thursday in Ashburton. Did the same thing. Then drove to Christchurch. And in Christchurch, obviously, went to go and drop the trailer off with Matt, High Point, just north of Christchurch, not too far. Dropped the trailer off there, had a quick natter, got back into Christchurch, and we're staying at the Novotel in Cathedral Square. Normally I stay at the Distinction, staying at the Novotel this time because the Distinction was full. But ridiculously expensive. I had no idea how expensive it was until it was already booked. I don't sign it off. I don't choose the hotels. They're all just done by whoever, And way too expensive for what it is. But anyway, hopefully we'll stay in there again. I don't like wasting money. I think it's just silly. I don't need a posh room. I just need a room that isn't flea ridden. And it has to have a desk. It needs to have a desk. I need a room with a desk. Without a desk, it doesn't work because I have work to do. I'm not going to sit on the bed and do my laptop for 3 hours. That doesn't work. I need a desk. Always. Can't stress that enough. Now then. So I'll bear that in mind, Purple Monkey. We'll get the pie finished first, then we'll go and say thank you for the okay pie. I mean, how would I score it? It doesn't taste too bad. And the meat's pretty good quality, but there's no gristle in there. It just seems a bit weird that it's shredded. Have they done that to try and reduce the amount of meat they've got to put in the pie? I don't know. I mean, there was quite a bit of meat in there. That actually was a sort of semi-chunk that I was eating now. Pastry could be massively improved. The taste of the pastry is fine. She's a bit flaky. It would probably fail the runnability test. As you can see, it was more of a puree than it was solid meat in there.
There's not a lot of choice.
And these are only available in their bakeries. And to my knowledge, there's only 2 of them. So there might be one more in Christchurch, but they're very localised to Christchurch. So if you're in Auckland and you want one of these, you got a long drive ahead of you. Not going to happen, right? So I suppose overall, and this is the packet. So just a generic paper bag. It's not branded. It's just got the word pie on it. So personally, if I was running a place like that, I'd have my branded, bags and t-shirts, merchandise. I'd really hype it up. A bit like Fat Bastard Pies in Invercargill. Man, they are onto it. Caps, t-shirts, all sorts of stuff. Website's great, and who can not like a Fat Bastard pie or a Fat Bastard t-shirt? To be fair, pretty cool. Okay, so let's go and say thank you. I'll put my cigarettes away. Somebody might. There's been a few people around asking for cigarettes, so they may go walk about. Don't want that. Okay. I reckon we can see the laptop on the phone. We'll be alright. Okay. If it all gets nicked, I'll just blame you guys, right? Holy crap, this shit. Okay, turn your 3, 2, 1, boom. Put the old rucksack up there. What's going on there with YouTube? Look at that. It's doing weird stuff. Okay. Very quickly, before we lose everything, I just want to say thank you very much for the pie this morning. Steak and cheese, wasn't it? Yes. I rate pies all over New Zealand as part of my YouTube channel, and you've been on a live stream with that pie. So say hello to the world.
Oh, hi.
Hello, world. It was a pretty good pie. A couple of things. I've eaten hundreds of pies over the years, as you can tell. Pastry. One of the features of a pie is structural integrity. Now, a lot of Kiwis will eat a pie while they're driving. Now, I don't endorse that, obviously, but your pie was definitely a two-handed pie.
Two-handed pie?
Yeah, because the base of the pie was very thin.
Oh.
And when you hold the pie, it's already starting to droop down. So you've got to implement good pie management skills.
Yes. Oh, we've got a learner on board at the moment.
Ah.
So a brand new person learning. So that may be...
That might be it.
Yeah, that might be it.
Well, if you want any tips and tricks, get them to give me a call. They can message me at the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. and I will happily give you all the extra bits that might just give you that,
Oh, wonderful.
you know, because we want to make your pies the best pies in the world, right? Okay.
Sure do.
What was your name?
Amanda, I don't make the pies myself, I just sell them.
Well, you do a great job selling them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right,
Enjoy.
cheers, Amanda. Thank you. All right, bye. There you go. How was that? So I'll let you rate that one. Classic. All sorts going on. That was a bit of fun, wasn't it? Good idea. It's always good to meet new people and have a chat with them and put them on the spot on a live stream. There we go. I think we're about level now. Okay, I've got to sort this laptop out. There's all sorts of... I think some of the pastry's got in the keyboard and it's causing it to do things. Not ideal. Okay, where do we get to with the comments? I can focus it more now. Right, so Purple Monkey, over to you. You know, what would you give the pie server attractiveness, stroke, you know, the overall welcoming of, you know, an ambience of the said pie shop? You know, did we feel welcome? Did you enjoy the conversation? Was it a memorable experience? Would you go back? You know, all that kind of stuff affects that score out of 10. So, you know, everybody chip in, give us a score. See what you think. Bit of fun. So, today is, as you well know, Sunday for me in New Zealand. Mrs. Mechanic is still in bed. Yes. So I've got to get back to the hotel, extract Mrs. Mechanic from the bed, get all the gear downstairs, get it all packed back in the car. Hopefully it'll all fit because there's more stuff now in the car than there was. Go to Kai Point, pick up the trailer. Morning, Matt. If you're watching this, Matt, if you want a pie and a coffee, or you and Amanda want a pie and a coffee bringing down, just give, you know, click me a text or a message or whatever, and I'll grab that on the way through. And then from Kai Point, I've planned a route which goes inland north. So normally I would go up State Highway 1 up the east coast, but this time round, let me just try and find where it is. Yes. This time round, I've chosen a more rural route. I believe it's all tarmac. I've got all day to get to Picton. There was no ferries. They were all full for today. Normally, I would get the ferry at 1 o'clock, so there's no way I'd even be doing a live stream. Right? I'd be on the road, probably a couple of hours north of Christchurch already. But unfortunately, there was no space on Sunday's ferries, so that just didn't work. So, pushed it back to tomorrow. So we've got to get up to Picton tonight. So we've got plenty of time. And you know, I like to explore New Zealand and know alternative routes, because State Highway 1 often gets closed in places, and the Kaikoura, yes it does, right? We've seen that for years. It got closed. So there's an inland route. So we'll do that. All right, there might be some nice views. It looks quite passable. I've done a bit of Google satellites, the Google Maps, you know, with the photos, and it all looks to be tarmac, so we should be fine down there. There's a real nice pub that we got told about. Was it Roger? I can't remember who it was now, but just north, just as you're leaving Kaikoura on State Highway 1, it was Stu at Rogers. As you're leaving, morning Stu, as you're leaving Kaikoura, heading north, just as you're sort of leaving the 50 zone, there's a left turn and you go down there, and there's a pub just down there, you know, which is supposed to be really nice, you know, like an English pub. So Stu said you should go there for your lunch. It's going to be a very late lunch, right? It's probably going to be mid-afternoon, maybe even an early tea. We'll see how things pan out. So that's where we're going to go. So to get onto that route, we head north, and then we turn off State Highway 1 to a place called Culverden. And then we go to, I'm just going to read out the names for those that are interested. Yeah, Culverden to Rotherham, and then Rotherham to, I can't pronounce it, YU, yeah, look. And then from there, oh, wrong way, we go to Mount Lyford Village, up there, look. And then the road wiggles along here. You won't be able to see it very well on there. There's no more names on that one. Lots of wiggly stuff. If I zoom in, you'll see it goes over rivers and follows rivers and that kind of thing. And then it shows it's called the Inland Road. Yeah, look, Inland Road. I'm not on Google Maps. This is just screenshots that I took to remind me of places. And then it meets then State Highway 1 between Paqueta and Kaikoura, right? So it eventually joins State Highway 1 just south of Kaikoura. So it's a fair trek, right? It's a fair run, is that Inland Road, but it should be good. I'm looking for. Oh, there's another picture. I'm looking forward to it. So there's an overview of that route on Google Maps. So that one will take us. It says here 2 hours 38 minutes. It'll take me like well over 3 hours at least to do that, to be fair, because A, trailer on the back, B, just enjoying the road, not on a mission. That sort of time assumes you're doing about 100 k's an hour, so you know we won't be doing that, that's for sure. Like I say, I'm not in a rush. So call at the pub, have tea or late, or some kind of food in the afternoon, because when we get to Picton, honestly, Sunday nights, nearly everywhere, including the Irish pub, is shut, right? There's nowhere to get decent food, so we'll definitely have to eat before we get to Picton anyway. And then tomorrow morning, Monday morning, I've got a few hours to just catch up with some admin work, and then we've got to check in on the ferry at 1 o'clock, 1 a.m, because it's not really... I'm not allowed to drive after the 8th hour, right? This is one of these health and safety things that's come in the recent years. So even if I got the really early ferry, let's say if there's a 6 a.m. ferry Monday morning, ferry takes about 4 hours, so I'd have to check in at 5 a.m. because there's a minimum 1 hour wait. Ferry leaves at 6, hypothetically. About 3.5 to 4 hours, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gets in about 10:30. And then if I was to drive all the way home from there, it's a good 6.5 hours. So it's just not possible, right? I end up being over time. So may as well, take the 2 days to get back. And what we're going to be doing is ferry at 1 o'clock, leaves at 2:15, gets into Wellington at 6 p.m. And then we've got like an hour or so's drive over the hill to Greytown. And I'll be staying, the last night is the White Swan Hotel in Greytown. Give them a shout out because it's a fantastic place. It really is. Excellent restaurant, excellent staff, really cool rooms, especially if you get to stay in the rooms that are above the pub. They're all themed, really, really cool. Maybe one day I'll do a live stream from there, I don't know, we'll see. But it's really, really good. Just quality, attention to detail, but it's not over expensive. So if you're ever going through Greytown in New Zealand or looking for somewhere to stay in that area, I would strongly recommend Greytown. Lovely village, really nice village anyway. If you can get into the White Swan, book well in advance. And they're not a sponsor, I don't get any discount to give them a shout out. I think they just deserve it. They've been very accommodating. They always make space for the trailer. If I'm taking the trailer as well, they'll get all phoned off for me ready. Just nice people, pat on the back, appreciate it. So there you go. And then on Tuesday morning, from Greytown home, it's still about 5.5 hours realistically, because we'll be going home via Taupo, get tea in Taupo. So I'll try and get a late checkout, get some more admin work done first, just put out the fires as I have to do because lots of stuff keeps coming in, and then hit the road. Once I'm on the road, there's not really any possibility of getting your laptop out, certainly not when you're driving. And the signal, on that journey is pretty poor in most places. There's not that many spots that you can stop and get your own laptop fired up and have any kind of reasonable internet. So, got to be careful, just plan your attack, clear the decks before you leave, and then focus on driving. And that's very important these days, you know. When you're driving a vehicle, my primary role is driving a vehicle. It's not answering emails, it's not even really answering phone calls. You know, I've had it before many times over the years, right? And it isn't just with the current employer. You have a phone call come in, and obviously you're using hands-free officer, which I do. And for me, it's normally quite a technical phone conversation. Hey Andy, we've got this particular bike in, it's got these symptoms, what do you think could be the problem? So you're there driving along, and the majority of your brain now has switched from driving to, you know, visualizing the issue. Oh, we've got some volume on there. Just turn the volume down, hang on, bear with me. Visualizing the, you know, the bike and the symptoms, and then your head going through the various systems on the bike, thinking, well, it could be this, could be that, and these are the tests, and holding a conversation with the tech at the same time. And this could go on for 10 or 15 minutes, assuming that Spark New Zealand is able to provide you signal for your phone for that period of time. Often not. Often the phone conversation is split into 4 or 5 mini phone conversations because the call keeps dropping out. But let's put that to one side for now, right? And then you finally finish this discussion with the tech. He's all happy, he's got some tests to go and do, and he's going to email you back with the results. And then you switch back to your driving, and you go, oh, we're here already. How? I don't remember any of the road for the last 15 minutes to get here. I don't remember any of the vehicles, the trucks. I won't have overtaken anybody because, you know, that requires a lot more focus. But you end up dropping into autopilot. And I'm sure some of you have come across this as well. And man, it's scary, you know. What if there was an adverse scenario occurs, the car in front slams all on, somebody pulls out on you, whatever. What would you do when you're in that sort of, I wouldn't say a trance, but you're focused on other stuff? You know, would you actually react in time? Would you have delayed reaction? Whatever. There's no doubt it compromises your driving ability when you're holding a technical conversation on the phone. I mean, if it's just your mate ringing you up saying, hey, do you want to go for beers later on? You know, that's not too bad. You don't have to think a lot. The answer's going to be yes, right? But when it's, you know, an electrical problem or a running issue, or the guy's got noise in his transmission, or whatever, then, you know, you're thinking quite a bit about what it could be on that particular model, that particular year. You're remembering the configuration of the vehicle to do the diagnostic in your head. It takes some doing, to be fair. It's quite mentally stressful. Well, it is for me anyway. So there you go. So we'll get home probably, I would say about 7:30 on Tuesday night, and then I'll be back in the office, home office, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because I've got plenty of catch-up. Okay, where have we got to? I've got to scroll down. There's been all sorts of weird stuff going on with this laptop this morning. There we go. Okay. Let me have a look. There's a lot of glare on this one. I know what's wrong with your eye. You're sticking your finger in it. Lol. That wasn't the problem. And to be fair, I don't constantly rub it, touch it during the day. I'm very, very good at not doing that. And normally, if I do put any cream on it, I wash my hands first. You know, I try and be super careful. I don't think it's infected anymore. I think that's the aftermath of the damage to the skin when, you know, when the round thing, whatever it was, the boil was at its largest. It didn't do my skin any good at all. Luckily, it hasn't affected my eye closing or the operation of my eyelids and stuff. That's not an issue. It's just a little bit, you know, a bit unsightly. So apologies. It is what it is. You know, it could have been a lot worse. Could have been. Well done. I just see myself on camera. Great job. People don't want to see it. It's all right. What's this? Carvart Designs. Kavonka Designs. You're filming on the laptop cam. Open it, set it. I'm not. Look, there. There's the laptop. Not on the laptop. I'm filming from my phone. The phone is a Samsung S20, and there is nothing on a Samsung S20 which will allow me to horizontally flip the camera, the selfie camera. Nothing there. There's nothing on YouTube that fixes the problem. It's something we're all aware of. It never used to, the same phone didn't used to have this problem. And I've used this phone for live streams, well, since the first live stream during lockdown. And all of a sudden, very strange, maybe you have to do an update or something, this is what we get. We live in a reverse world now. A mirror image of Andy Mechanic when I'm doing live streams. When I'm filming, right, not doing a live stream, using the same phone, no problems at all. Works fine on both cameras. So I don't know what the problem is. We've tried all sorts of stuff, I've researched loads of stuff, cannot find a fix for it. Won't be a problem soon because I'll be buying a new phone soon, a new Samsung for my workshop. And and also we did a live stream on my S23, this phone, exactly the same. And again, nothing in the settings to flip the selfie camera. So I don't know what to do. I just give up. We'll have to just live with it, won't we? Where do we get to? Scrolling back. Here we go. We've got some scores come in. Thank you very much. Keep going back. Right. Here we go. The Giant. Good evening. How are you doing? I'm all right. The Giant. I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. There's all sorts going on here. That's better. So the Giant, I'm doing okay. Simon. Brewed for years since I was 15 years old. Was around not getting it from the shop. Yes, a ways around not getting it from the shop. So exactly, they don't like little kids going in asking for a box of cider or a box of beer. You make your own. The answer no, right? It's all good. Totally endorse that. Well done, Simon. Mike Adams. I know what's wrong with your. Oh, there we go. Done that one. Purple Monkey. Nice peeps. 9 out of 10? 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. That's right. Simon Roll. 7 out of 10. Thank you, Simon. Appreciate that. Roger Heaps. I had to move the valve machine as we have 1-day-old chickens arriving on Tuesday. Oh man, you're glutton for punishment, aren't you? Little puppies running around that are going to get big, and now you've got chickens running around. Absolutely mental. And I hope you didn't put your back out trying to move that valve machine, because it's not light. Bum. Bear with me. Simon, that's why most of your... God, it's terrible to read today. Baking distance is braking distance is reaction time. But I do know the feeling, yes. I don't like it. I don't like suddenly being aware that I'm still driving a car. That's the weird thing, I mean, nothing's ever happened. But it might. Maybe I've just been super lucky, I don't know, but when I'm deep in thought about a diagnostic, driving definitely seems to become secondary, and it shouldn't do. Driving should be a primary job, and nothing should detract from that. So maybe I just don't answer my phone while I'm driving. Maybe that's the answer. I don't know. Go back to old school stuff where there weren't mobile phones, when you did focus on the drive. Here we go. Kovaka Designs. use not some kind of earth with your chickens to control mites and lice. Okay, well, that's one for. I'm pretty sure Roger knows how to bring up chickens. Okay, but anyway, that's alright. Sometimes it could just be an infected eyelash follicle. It could well be. Or it could have been like a. I don't know where all the ducts are. Sorry, ducts for your. Where your tears come out. I remember years and years ago, I had a bit of a blocked one of those, which was quite painful. Whether it was one of those that just got way out of hand or got infected, I still think it was to do with that piece of metal, and it was definitely that eye. And the piece of metal, when I was grinding some old nails off some timber, it didn't go into my eyeball. It went into an eyelid, probably the bottom one. I had safety glasses on, right? But hey, shit happens. So I think it was to do with that. A bit of rusty steel then caused the infection. It's a bit late to worry about it now, isn't it? You're just a freak now, Andy. That's right. Works on Cell 2, save as preview. That's what we don't know. Save as preview, I agree, fixes it when you're filming, but when you're doing a live stream, that's not an option. It's just a live link. It can't change it. It doesn't work. There just isn't an option on the phone. I've tried all sorts, and it doesn't work. To the point where, you get so frustrated, you just want to grab the nearest hammer and smash the shit out of your phone. Seriously. I've been there, done that, tried everything. I'm not an IT guy, but I'm pretty sure an IT guy was here and he played around with the phone as well. He just goes, it is what it is. And I'm not going to start running other apps in the background to try and fix the problem. It's too complicated. Shouldn't have to do that. It should be right. And the only thing that's changed is YouTube. YouTube needs to fix it. Please, YouTube. It's been too long. Okay, so you've got a 21 Ultra, that's the same as Mrs. Mechanic. So launch a live stream, right? Don't film it, right? Don't film it and save it. That's not what we're doing now. Launch a live stream on YouTube yourself, and then watch the live stream back, and then you'll know if you fixed it or not. If you fixed it, take me some screenshots of where you found the setting, in which menu, the step-by-step screenshots, and email them to me. I'd be very, very grateful. But and I apologise for sounding a bit pissed off, but I am pissed off because I've tried all sorts and I can't get it to work. And I just feel like I'm just wasting my life trying to fix the problem. Not noisy at all. Thanks, mate. Yes, I have a public email. It is andymechanic@live.co.uk. Mike Adams, please forgive my ignorance. Never ignorance. So why have motorcycle companies mostly gone away from air-cooled engines to water-cooled? I know the answer to that. Okay, so an air-cooled engine, it's quite difficult to control engine temperature. When you're going fast, it tends to run a bit cool. When you're going really slow or stops at traffic lights, it tends to get really hot. And that can affect tolerances in the engine. Thermal expansion, thermal contraction, all that kind of stuff. And it makes it very difficult to make the engines super efficient. So that affects emissions, right? So the government stepped in back in the 80s and they went, ooh, the polar bears are starting to have problems, little icy floaty things are sinking and they've got nowhere to live. So you need to up your game and reduce your emissions. Okay. So the manufacturers started to do stuff like that. And then year on year, the emission requirements that the government set have become more and more and more strict. You know, Euro 1, Euro 2, Euro 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know, we're on Euro 7 now? I don't know. It just keeps going up. It's getting harder and harder for manufacturers to meet this criteria and have less and less coming out of the exhaust pipe. So one of the things they had to do was they switched from carburetors to fuel injection, right? Far better on emissions. But they also switched from air-cooled engines to liquid-cooled, where they can control engine temperatures far more accurately. And they also nowadays increase the engine running temperature much higher than it used to be to try and obtain complete combustion. The last thing you want are is unburnt fuel going out the exhaust. A bit like on a two-stroke, bad for the environment, right? I love two-strokes, they're great. But people that are in control, oh God, it sounds like it's a conspiracy theory. They don't like them, right? Because there's all this petrol going out the exhaust, it's bad for the world. It's not really, anyway. So they've raised the running temperature, the operating temperature of the engine once it's at normal operating temperature. That's why thermostats open at a much higher temperature on modern cars than they do on cars from the 80s. That's why cooling fans come on a car or a motorcycle much higher up, 98 degrees, 100 degrees C. The water isn't boiling because it's got coolant in it, but it's and it's under pressure. That's the main reason, right? But engines run so much hotter now than they ever used to. But the margin, the safety margin from what they call normal operating temperature to when engine damage occurs is really small now. It might be 10 degrees, right? Whereas back in the 80s, it would have been 25, 30 degrees before you start to have any problems. So if something goes wrong and your cooling fan stops working or you get a coolant leak or whatever, it doesn't take long for your engine to suffer damage. It's a much shorter time frame. This is the same for quad bikes, it's the same for motorcycles, the same for cars. The manufacturers are pushing the boundaries. And when everything's running fine, no problem. If you're on a quad bike and you're a farmer and you're going out and it's been raining and the paddock's a bit muddy, and you get some mud in the radiator, boom, all of a sudden she's running too hot. And if you don't turn it off there and then, and let it cool down, and then tow the machine back to base, highly likely you'll overheat the engine to the point where the aluminium cylinder head will go soft. It'll fail the hardness test and it needs to be replaced. On an old car, never seemed to be a real issue unless it was a very, very serious overheat. Normally you'd catch it in time. Nowadays, anyway, a lot worse. But that's why they went from air-cooled engines, 4-stroke, 2-stroke, to liquid-cooled. The underlying issue was emissions, but it allows them to control engine temperature a lot better, and cool the engine when the bike's stationary, because you've got a cooling fan on the radiator. Okay, next comment. So hopefully that's answered your question. That's how I see it. Anybody else want to chip in and give their their views as well? Feel free. I'll try it, thanks. Must be the YouTube app causing the issue. I'm sure it is, to be honest. I'll update if I can fix it. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it, mate. Correct. Emissions driven. I made my own O2 simulator for my car. Delete setup. Oh, well done. A 555 timer. A capacitor and 2 resistors. Never had to do it. Don't worry about that kind of stuff. Alternating to full the engine PCM. So you're just keeping it right close to stoichiometric ratio all the time? I don't know. Suppose it would work. Yeah. So it would just keep the fuel in the same. Okay, I'll go with that. Purple Monkey. If there were a worry on emissions, surely motorsport would be banned. Unnecessary, not essential emissions. Watch this space. I think, to be fair, motorsport is such a very small, almost insignificant aspect or contributor to emissions. I mean, yeah, it creates a lot of revenue for TV companies, various venues around the countries. I think realistically they should focus a lot more on things like ships. Ships burn a lot of fuel. I don't know if you should, they seem to, and boats. You know, people with boats, marine, domestic, you know, private boats. Man, they use a lot of petrol. A shit ton of petrol to get anywhere. You know, you see them at the petrol station filling up here, and it's easily $500 of petrol. How, you know, what are you doing today, mate? Oh, just going to go out in the boat for a few hours. $500 in petrol, really? Absolutely mental. So I think they're over-focused on motorcycles. I think they're over-focused on cars. I think there are much bigger segments of industry that are contributing towards the global emissions than those particular segments. I think they're a tiny amount of some other stuff. But hey, you know, maybe we're just an easy target, right? It's too late now, isn't it? Bring on the EVs, why don't you? I run a straight pipe, good man. Simon, on the subject of new bikes, sat on one last Sunday at the NEC. You did a SRX 900 GP. Nice bike. Can't justify buying one to ride a few times a year, but what a machine it was. Yes, they are fantastic pieces of kit. They really are. Nice bikes, easy to ride, very predictable, and they go well. They go really well for what they are. I mean, they'll never be an R6, right? They'll never be an R1. I think that style of, you know, super performance race bike for the road, it's sort of gone. It's not really as applicable as it used to be. The bikes literally are too fast for public roads these days. And I'm not talking about the legal speed limit, I'm just talking about the fact that there's so many cars on the roads and the quality of the roads and the fact that there's so many more cameras and police, you know, the policing of said roads is so much more strict that you're just going to lose your license. It's just absolutely pointless. So why not get a bike that's more fun to ride at slightly slower speeds? And that's the bike, right? I can see why they're doing it. I can see why manufacturers are going towards that kind of stuff. And it looks awesome. It looks really cool. I like it. Not a bike for me at all, but cool bike. So, no, thank you, Simon. Appreciate that. Mike Adams, I understand. Thanks for the I'm not trying to educate anybody. It's just my opinion, Mike. I taught a bit about emissions and how it affected the automotive world when I was at Unitech, and I was quite passionate about it. You know, manufacturers haven't done what's best for the vehicle. They've done what's best to meet regulations. They've been forced into it. Their arm has been twisted. I think engines would be extremely different in their design and construction nowadays if it wasn't for this overpowering, limiting emission requirements. It's just not good. Not good at all. Imagine the two-strokes we'd have out there, you know? Would the RD 500 still be around? I'd like to think so. Is it going to come back? No, it's never going to come back. They might steal the RD name and stick it on a 4-stroke. That would be sacrilege. Right? It just would not work. You've got to remember what the RD was all about. RZ in the States. Mike Adams, my niece needs me. Thanks you all. Oh, okay, sorry, mate. Catch you on the next round. Roger D, cheers, Mike. Thank you for joining, sir. We were 9:25, okay. Connor K, I understand all the changes to decrease emissions. It's all the sensors, wire harnesses, and plugs and multiple control modules. They're all connected to that fail. Connected to that fail and the big problem. Yes, things are way more overcomplicated. Way more complicated than they used to be. You know, I was talking to one of the dealers yesterday, and it is of exactly the same mind. You know, I was talking about adventure bikes. And I said, have you ever read Jupiter's Travels? Ted Simon, you know, his book. When he gets an old, I think it's an old Triumph. I mean, I was only a teenager when I read it, it's a long time ago, but he gets his old Triumph. He's sponsored by, I think it's a Times newspaper in London, and they sponsor him to do a ride around the world. This is way before the Ewan McGregor and Charlie Baldwin and all the backup shit. This guy was on his own, right? He loads his bike up and leaves the UK. For years on that bike he spent. And yeah, sure, he had problems and he had to fix it along the way. And it was really cool to read. But the fact is, he could fix it, you know? I remember at one point, you know, it was burning oil and it had a broken piston ring or something, you know, it scored the bore. And he had to order a new cylinder and a new piston. It took months to arrive. He was in this Bacabillon village somewhere, you know, and he basically made home there for a few months. You know, met this lass and checked up with her for a while. And, you know, fond memories, no doubt. But he was able to fix the bike and continue. Could you imagine doing that now on a modern day KTM? A modern day KTM adventure bike, you know, breaks down. Now, sure, if it's a cylinder and stuff, maybe, right? Mechanical fault, yes. Potentially, you could fix it. More complex repair, yes. More parts required, most likely. But electronics, you know, you've got fault codes. Unless you've got a scan tool, you've got no idea what the fault codes relate to. You don't know what system's gone down. You don't know if it's a sensor or the wiring harness. You know, you're just dead in the water. And we've seen it time and time again on adventure trips where the lads with the new bikes, they really struggle. You know, if something goes wrong, it has a massive impact on the trip. Normally it's, we need to get a van, we need to get a trailer, we've got to get this bike to the nearest city to a dealer to get it fixed. Well, Ted Simon didn't have to do that. He just got his little roll toolkit out and pulled the bike apart and worked out what the problem was and ordered the bits. And when you're in back and beyond, middle of nowhere, with no support, and there's only you and your tools, that's the kind of bike that you need. So don't choose something that's full of gizmos and gadgets and electronics. You know, yes, it might be a new machine, but believe me, it doesn't mean to say it's any more reliable, and it's a lot harder to fix when it does go wrong. Choose something that's been around for decades. You know, something that's steadfast, that's proven itself to be reliable. And there's plenty of parts around the world for as well, you know. I won't name any brands because the brand I want to name isn't the brand that I work for, and that wouldn't go down too well. But you know, it's your choice what you get, but if it was me, my personal choice, if I was going to ride around the world on a motorcycle, which I've always dreamt about doing, I think it would be a Suzuki DR650. You know, carburetted one of the older ones. Obviously do a full rebuild before you go, right? Because not only do you make sure the bike's in good nick and it's serviceable and there's no gremlins, but you also learn everything about the bike. I would completely strip it to nothing and rebuild it from the ground up so that I would know exactly what tools I need to take on the trip and exactly what needed to be done irrespective of the failure. And that would give me the ability to succeed and not be reliant on anybody else other than parts, you know. Where do we get to? We're going to have to call it a day soon because I've got shit to do. Richard Perry. Oh, hang on. Where do we get to? Oh, sorry, Andy. Electric cars and hybrids. Hate them. Absolutely hate them. Simon. A big outboard, say 90 horsepower, will burn 40 litres an hour on full power. It's mental. It really is how much fuel they use. Very, very inefficient method of transport is a boat, I think. Unless you know you can benefit from maybe economies of scale where they're massive ships. Fair enough. They're obviously not too bad per kilogram of payload moved, right? Because they can carry tens of thousands of tons of payload. But all these little domestic boats flicking around in the bay, and in New Zealand there are thousands of these little boats all over the place, all burning petrol. And they go out fishing. I don't get it. They go out fishing, right? They go and catch half a dozen fish. Well done, mate. So those half a dozen fish have just cost you $400 in petrol. You could have gone to the supermarket and bought the half dozen fish for $60. How is fishing good in a boat? I mean, okay, people do fish and that's their hobby and that's fine, I get it. But it's not helping, is it? You multiply that out by 10,000 people every day doing it around New Zealand. That's a shit ton of petrol. It adds up. Anyway, rant over. Sorry, Mrs. Mechanic, she hates when I rant. I mean, think how many RD 500s you could power on all that fuel every day. Oh, hang on, carry on. Kavorka Designs. ODB reader on and a multimeter goes a long way, especially with older cars and bikes. It does. And I mean, if it's a carburetor and there's no fuel injection, you don't even need a code reader. But you need to know how to use the code reader, and the code reader will only give you a fault on that circuit. You still got to bench test the sensor, right? And test the wiring harness. And I know it's not hard, but let's say your map sensor goes down. You're stuck in the middle of Botswana somewhere, and you need a new map sensor for the air intake pressure sensor. Same thing. For your KTM 1290, whatever it is. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. That's going to take 3 months to get to you. What do? You can't hang around for 3 months, can you? If you didn't have a map sensor to fail in the first place, it's not going to fail, is it? You just keep going. Seriously, carburetors. You can look at them and you can clean them and you can make them right. It's a physical thing. Now then, Simon, my dad, was saying before he retired that ships have been made with emission systems. Scrubbers, I think. Oh, so basically to scrub out the fumes. Economite, actually. Probably giant filter type things in the exhaust to try and make them look a bit better. I don't know. Probably, but did they do any good? What's the cost to it? What happens to... I don't know. I'm not a boat guy. Kavorka Designs, man, your size, like nice on the V10. What? Tomahawk. Your size, like on the... Don't get it. DR350 Mondo Enduro around the world. 350 will do it. Don't need a big bike. You need a bike that you can pick up, right? And hell, I'd do it on the DR200, you know me. But 350, yeah, a little bit more glow for the beginners. It was a bit slow. And the world's a big place, right? It takes a while to get around. 2003 Dodge Tomahawk, nice. Concept bike, biggest bike. Oh, okay. V10. Yeah, too much for me. Right, any more coffee left? Okay, so I have to go shortly. I've got to go find the car, check it out, get Mrs. Mechanic out of bed. She might be out of bed by now, probably not. And get all the gear in the room, drag it all downstairs. Probably take 3 trips, load up the truck. And then I've got to go, I think we're okay for fuel. Got to drive through to Kai Poi, catch up with Matt, hitch the trailer on, wiggle it out of his driveway, and then we're on the road. It's going to be a good run. It'll be about 400 kilometres, maybe a little bit more because we're going the back way. So, you know, driving for most of the day basically, just taking it nice and steady. Now I'll be back home on late Tuesday night, so we'll have a live stream in the workshop next Sunday, and we can discuss the plans up to Christmas, I think, for the workshop. You know, what the stuff that I've still got to get done before the Christmas holidays. Don't talk about Christmas, don't wish me happy Christmas, it's not Christmas yet. In New Zealand we've been bombarded by Father Christmases and Christmas trees, the whole corporate world has just jumped on the bandwagon for Christmas again to try and convince you to buy more stuff. That's basically all it is. I'm trying to ignore it until the week before Christmas. That's usually when I start thinking about this. Okay, oh, here we go, Connor. Yes, newer, large merchant ships do have exhaust scrubber systems. I don't know much about them, as I don't ship anymore. And when I did, those ships were built years ago. Yeah, they were already old ships. You're on them, right? But no, obviously, you know, when they're the bigger the better for a ship as regards you know, the effect on the planet per kilogram moved. But it's these little domestic boats. So get it. Anyway, so I'll bid you all farewell. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been a bit of fun here in Christchurch this morning on what was it, Riverside Lane, I think it's called. I don't know. I'll tell you again. If you're ever this way, it should be on my Google Maps. Riverside Lane, there we go. Riverside Lane in Christchurch. We had a pie from the Butcher's Pies. It wasn't bad, did the trick. Hopefully we can give them a few pointers. She did say that the guy that made the pie was a trainee. So we'll cut them some slack, it wasn't. Okay crew, I've got about a 10-minute walk and then hopefully Mrs. Mechanic will be out of bed. I'll see you next Sunday. Cheers crew. Thanks for watching. Over and out.